Hey everyone, Shadow Wraith back again, this time with a build video that will apply to all classes. So I'm going to start here showing it on a Warlock, and then I will show it on a Hunter and a Titan. Basically you're going to use the same weapons for all classes, and then you'll just pick which subclass you want to run. In this case, I would recommend it for mainly low to mid-level activities. You could take it into anything up to maybe a Legend Nightfall. I don't think I would recommend this for a lot of Master content. Basically, you're going to be running Warmind cells for ad clear, you're going to have Witherhoard for sustained damage, and then you're going to have a sword for high boss DPS. So overall, it's a very fun build. It works very well for things like standard strikes, clearing out lost sectors, etc. So without further ado, let's jump into subclass. For Warlock, I highly recommend using Bottom Tree Void, Attunement of Hunger. You can consume your grenade or get a powered melee kill to proc Devour, while in Devour, kills will extend its duration. It starts with 10 seconds and it refreshes each time, and kills will give you health and grenade back. You can also proc Devour with your super. I'm going to be running Vortex grenades here for the area of effect. They're really useful. And then Healing Rift for survivability, and then you can use any jump that you prefer. For Hunter, I would recommend using Bottom Tree Void for the Smoke Bomb invisibility, and then you can dodge to get your Smoke Bomb back if you're running Gambler's Dodge, and then the grenades also last twice as long. You can also use Top Tree Void for invisibility when you dodge, and then I'm using Vortex Grenade again, and the jump is up to you. For Titan, I recommend Top Tree Void for the bubble, because that's usable in a lot of situations, and the melee is also helpful and gives you health regen and your teammates over shields. Or you can use Middle Tree Void, which is good with the Void detonators. You can get ability regen, and that helps your teammates as well. As far as weapons go, these are going to be the same for all classes. We're going to start with Witherhoard. This does great sustained damage. Basically, you fire Witherhoard, switch to a different weapon, and use that weapon, and then Witherhoard will continue to tick for damage. It comes from the Season Pass, so everybody should have it. If you want, you can also use something like Izanagi's Burden. For primary, we're using the IKELOS SMG, my favorite primary so far this season. It procs Warmind cells, it has pretty good DPS, and it can roll with Demolitionists to help with grenade regen. And then I'm rolling Threat Detector here for the increased reload and stability and handling, and then Appended Mag for a couple extra shots, and Small Bore for the range and stability. And then I'm running Anti-Barrier rounds because I'm running Breach Resonator on my chest piece. But the one perk you want to make sure this has is Demolitionist. As far as heavy, of course, we're using Falling Guillotine, best sword by far. It has Whirlwind Blade for increased damage on sword strikes, and then Relentless Strikes for increased sword ammo on sword strikes. We're running Swordmaster's Guard for the increased charge rate. You can run whichever guard you want, and you can run whichever blade you want. I'm running Enduring Blade for the extra ammo. If you want straight DPS, I would recommend Jagged Edge. And then we have an Impact Masterwork, of course, and Boss Spec for the extra DPS. As far as artifact mods, you're definitely going to want to run Oppressive Darkness for the 30% debuff. That gives you 30% extra damage when you throw it at an enemy. And then you can run Overload Grenades if you're planning to take this into a Nightfall strike. And then Breach Resonator for increase melee and grenade regen on SMG kills. Enhanced Sword Scavenger for the increase in ammo. And then Anti-Barrier rounds to put on the SMG to proc Breach Resonator. The rest of these mods are up to you, whatever you prefer, feel free to run. You'll see I'm not running any exotic armor here. I'll give some recommendations later if you have them, but it's not required. So we're starting on Helmet with Lucent Blade. While charged with light, dealing damage with a sword gives you bonus sword damage for 5 seconds. And then the secondary perk greatly increases the charge rate for your equipped swords. Really good for DPS. And then Special Ammo Finder and Sword Ammo Finder. On arms, we're going to be running Taking Charge. Picking up an Orb of Light charges you with light, and then Momentum Transfer, up to you if you want to run that. Enhanced Submachine Gun Loader for quicker reloads, and then a Minor Resist. So the Minor Resist and Momentum Transfer, those are optional. Feel free to change them. On the chest piece, we're going to be running Swift Charge. Become charged with light by rapidly defeating combatants with Pulse Rifle, Sidearm, or Submachine Gun. We only care about the Submachine Gun part, so 3 quick kills will be another way to charge you with light. And then we're going to be running Sword Reserves. You could run something like Overload Grenades here instead, up to you, personal preference. And then again, Breach Resonator for the ability regen, and a boss resist, since we're going to be running up to bosses and hitting them with swords. That's an optional one. You can play around with those mods if you want to. On boots, we're going to be running Global Reach. This significantly increases the range of Warmind cells. Really, really good. Highly recommend it. And then we're going to be running Special Ammo Scavenger, Enhanced Sword Scavenger, and a Discipline mod. You can change the Discipline mod to something else. Lastly, on our class item, we're going to be running, of course, Oppressive Darkness, 30% debuff, hard to beat. These other two mods, Special Finisher and Protective Light, these are helpful. Protective Light really helps for survivability. If you do not have these, you can run other mods. So a recommendation would be something like High Energy Fire. If you don't have High Energy Fire, you can swap to a Solar class item and run something like Fire Team Medic, where if you blow up a Warmind cell, it'll give you health. That's very helpful. You can also run a Arc class item with something like Reactive Pulse. Taking damage while surrounded by combatants allows you to emit a burst of damaging arc energy. That's pretty good too. As far as exotics go, these would be my recommendations if you have them, but again, they're not required. For Warlock, Verity's Brow for increased grenade regen and damage, or Nazarak Sin for increased ability regen. Titans, Heart of Inmost Light for ability regen and damage, Doomfang Pauldrons for better supers, or Helm of Saint 14 for blinding bubbles. For Hunters, Wormhusk Crown for a bump in health on dodges, Graviton Forfeit for increased length of invisibility, or Sixth Coyote for an additional dodge charge, or Orpheus Rigs for better supers. As far as how the build works, one thing you want to know about Warmind cells, it's like a bar you fill up, so red bars give you 15%, yellow bars give you 25%, and ultras give you 100% of the bar. So you kill one yellow bar, that's 25%, 50%, kill another two, 75%, and 100, and that'll proc a Warmind cell. Blow up the Warmind cell. And then something else you should know when you get a kill with Witherhoard, if you have the SMG out, even if Witherhoard is what kills the enemy, it'll still proc a Warmind cell. So you can see that Ultra just filled the bar up 100%. We're now charged with Light. You'll get to see Lucent Blade in action here. Toss a grenade for the 30% damage debuff, and then use a heavy attack. For Warlock specifically, you can use a powered melee to enter Devour, and then it'll only take you 3 kills to get your grenade back. For Hunter and Titan, it'll probably take closer to 6 or 7 kills, but it's a lot of grenades. And while you're getting these kills, because you're using a masterwork weapon, every 2 kills will generate an Orb of Light, which you can pick up for Charge with Light. And then every 3 kills, you'll be getting Swift Charge, which will also charge you with Light. Jumping into Hunter gameplay now, we're going to be running exact same weapons and mods, so you can see we're proccing Warmind cells to take out the ads again, but the uniqueness of a Hunter is you can go invisible, and then you dodge next to an enemy to get your smoke bomb back. You can get virtually infinite invisibility if you run 100 mobility with Graviton Forfeit, because you get 9 seconds of invisibility per smoke bomb, and your dodge recharges in 9 seconds as well. Sixth Coyote is also good for doing that if you have those 2 exotics. One advanced tactic that you can do with Bottom Tree Hunter is if you throw your grenade and then throw your smoke bomb at your teammates to make them invisible, your grenade ticking for damage will recharge your smoke bomb, and you'll get roughly 60 to 70% of your grenade back for making your 2 teammates invisible. So you can get almost infinite grenades. I have another quick video showing how that works as well. But again, back to the gameplay, what you do is you shoot Witherhoard for the area of effect, and then you go in with a sword or an SMG to get the actual kills. And then using this method, you can very easily kill a boss like Valis, throw the grenade to proc Oppressive Darkness, and then you just jump in. You can see Keened again for the extra sword damage. And then you can solo one-phase Valis in a standard strike pretty easily. Jumping now to Titan, again, same build, same weapons, only difference will be the subclass. So if you're running Top Tree, your melee gives you an overshield and gives health regen and an overshield to nearby allies. And then another nice perk is even if your melee ability is not charged, killing someone with it will start health regen for you. So that's a good thing to note. But other than that, it pretty much functions the same way. Use Witherhoard for area of effect, Warmind cells for the clearance, and then sword for quicker DPS on higher health targets. As far as content goes, that's pretty much all of it. So if you want to see the rest of the footage, basically it'll show how quickly you can take down tanks, mini bosses get melted, and then at the very end you'll see how you can take out Zahn before he even gets up to the airfield. So that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I tried to make it pretty succinct and then share different options in case you don't have armor or mods. I know I went through a lot of information pretty quickly, so if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. Thanks for watching.